Welcome to Lit Happens, Saskatchewan's showcase of the literary talent of the province. We are out on location today at the Saskatchewan Writers Guild offices in the Besborough Hotel. And I'd like to welcome back Michael Cuthbertson.
Thank you, Wes. I'm glad to be back.
I'm really glad you're here too. We really tried to get you
We
here when
did.
your book came out, but
Then I was off in Europe,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
I've returned to
Yeah.
Saskatoon
yeah,
and returned to the life of promoting this book.
yeah. We're going to talk about Europe, but first I think I'd like to just hear a little bit about how this book came to be and why you felt compelled to write it.
It's a coming-of-age story
Yeah.
about a troubled young man,
Yeah.
of which I guess I might have had some similarities. And I mean, the character's 21, I'm 24 now, and basically it was just, there was a time in my life when everything seemed to just sort of explode all at once. I was thrown out of my parents' house. I was cast into the cruel, dark world of adulthood. Okay, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I was just encountering a lot of new things,
Yeah.
like more adult-type romantic relationships, and just had to experimented with illicit substances.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And the character in this book also, strange enough, happens to do very similar things.
Yeah.
And I guess, anyway, this period in my life kind of settled down at some point, and the dust settled, and I was a little more stable, and I thought, wow, that was a really dramatic period and interesting, and something that I think I learned things from, and just in a way it was fascinating too, and I think there was something universal too about what happened to me, and I wanted to share that, so
Yeah.
I decided to write a fictional book about similar things.
I was reading this book actually last winter. I was lying on a beach in Mexico
You
reading
told
it,
me that,
and
yes.
it was quite the experience to be miles away and reading about Saskatoon. But I kept thinking it really is a coming of age story, much like Catcher in the Rye and all the classics.
Thanks.
So
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, an interesting thing about writing it, I think that, I don't know if this would be conventional for writers, like this happens often, but I found that I didn't really have a clear picture at all of what genre it was going to be like, even the tone of it, where it would begin and end the story, because it obviously was very inspired by events in my own life.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I just sort of started pouring out ideas, and it really was, it was me trying to figure things out as I was writing it, because I was so just kind of, like I said, dumbfounded from everything that happened to me in my life a couple years ago. And I didn't have blueprints of how it was going to look when it was done, and I was just, it definitely took several years till I started realizing, oh, it is a novel with a coherent, arc to it, hopefully. And in the beginning, I wasn't even sure it was going to be a novel. I was going to maybe write a short story, and the words just kept coming.
Yes, actually, I remember when you were working on it, you really worked on it. You were giving up a lot of social engagements and sacrificing a lot of...
Yeah, I guess I feel like with myself, when I do creative things or anything in life, I'd like to have a one-track mind and just get really intense into something. And in that case, there was a period where I was sort of able to just be in university, taking a few classes here and there, but not really be that absorbed in it, and just really focus on the book. And now I guess I'm seeing the other end of the spectrum as a writer, where I'm working full-time in a not writing field, and just seeing that the writing can get swept under the rug sometimes.
Yes, life is all about phases, it seems.
Yes.
So the book is out, and you are only 24, which is young to be a published novelist. How does that feel?
It's good. I don't know. With authors, I guess sometimes they do start later in life, but I still feel like very eager to get things out now. I just don't know what the future will bring, and a lot of great musicians, at least, they'd already put out so much great stuff at this time, and some writers, that I just definitely knew I wanted to. An interesting thing is that I feel like when authors write something of a more autobiographical nature,
Yeah.
they might wait a long time to reflect on it, and I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Which has created an interesting situation where I'm writing about something fairly close to me, and but I'm glad that I did it. Wrote about something while it was still fresh in my mind.
Yeah. So what has the reaction to Saskatoon Girls been like?
It's been good.
Yeah?
I have it in a variety of stores in Saskatoon, Vinyl Diner, McNally Robinson, Turning the Tide.
Great.
You can also buy it online at themcpress.com.
Yeah.
That's my old magazine's website, which is currently
Yeah.
on hiatus, the
Yeah.
magazine. But it's been good, and it's interesting because I've seen the whole spectrum of opinions on it, from people who are like inspired by it and thoroughly entertained, and it got them excited about this or that. I write about nature, and people said really good things about that aspect of it, and just people who found it just really entertaining, to people who found it maybe less than exceptional.
Well, you're not going to please all audiences.
It's
so,
true.
Yeah.
It's true. There's never been a work of art that has done that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been overall really good. The arts community's been really supportive.
Yeah.
People have been really good about actually buying it, which is great for a writer to actually sell their book.
Yeah.
For
it is great.
currency, for monetary exchange. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you did something kind of interesting is you launched this book in Saskatoon last spring, and then very shortly after the launch, you took off to Europe for quite a big chunk of time.
I did this.
And so, how was that?
It was good. I'm hoping actually that some of the experiences over there I will get to write about soon, because I was in Eastern Europe. I was in Ukraine briefly, and it's kind of a tumultuous period over there. Yeah. And I had a lot of amazing experiences. It was another dramatic period in my life, and I think I've got more ideas brewing in my head. So it was good for the inspiration, and good to just, writing a book is such a big process. It's good to just like completely leave it for a little while. But I'm happy to be back. Yeah. In the town with the book.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So what's next for you?
Well, like I said, hopefully another writing project soon. Hopefully not too much full-time work unrelated to the writing process.
Right.
But just writing more, and hopefully reading more. And
Awesome. Well, I know we're out of time, but I just want to thank you for coming up here today. You took time out of your busy world.
Yeah, thanks, Wes. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. And we'll get you on again.
Okay, I'll be back. Thanks.
That's all the time we have today for Lit Happens. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can see previous segments on the Shaw TV website or on my website, westfunk.ca. And you can connect with me online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So I'll see you next time on Lit Happens.